With Splatoon 3's Grand Festival over, people have inevitably started discussing a fourth installment in the franchise. And the hot topic on Twitter right now, or at the very least when I was writing this script, is having male idols in the franchise. A bit of clarification here. In the Splatoon sense of the word, idol is used to represent a character of the game's main musical group. All of the members of the Now or Never 7 are idols, even though the Squid Sisters are the only ones who fit into the traditional definition of Japanese idols. And yes, we do have a male idol, Big Man. And I have absolutely no qualms with him. I'd even say he's my favorite of Deep Cut, for his level-headedness, fangirl moments, and goofy choreography. But what Twitter is concerned with, and what I want to discuss today, are Inkfish idols. A male character who is either an Inkling or an Octoling in the fourth installment's main music group. And the inclusion of such is something I am rather against. My opposition comes not from a game perspective, but from a fandom perspective. A common phrase tutted around online is having a male idol won't stop the franchise from being female-led, and I totally agree with this sentiment. I have no doubts that Nintendo would continue to write strong, lore-relevant women if an Inkfish man or two was added to the mix. I cannot say with absolute certainty, however, that Splatoon will continue to have a female-led fandom if this were to occur. And this is why I am so strongly against the idea of a male idol. Panning away from Splatoon for a bit, I'd like to talk about fandom culture as a whole. The truth of the matter in fandom is that male characters will always be more popular than female ones. By extension, male characters are centric to fandom dynamics and creations, such as art and fanfictions. Quick pause here to define some terms I'll be using later in the video. Slash means a relationship between two men, and fem/slash means a relationship between two women. Okay, got that? Alright, let's get back to it. If you're willing to participate, I'd like you to do me a favor. Open up the website Archive of Our Own and go into the series tag for any franchise. Your only caveat is that this franchise must have both male and female characters. The more popular the franchise, the better. Now go over to the right side where the filters are. Open up the drop-downs for both pairings and characters. These options represent the most commonly written about entities in your fandom. What do you see? A lot of men, right? How far down is the first woman? Are there any fem/slash pairings in the filters list at all? And if there are, what's the numerical difference between the most popular slash pairing and the most popular fem/slash pairing? Let's look at what I consider to be my main fandom, Cookie Run, for another example. This screenshot was taken on October 2nd, 2024. The most popular slash pairing is Espressolin, which has 1,115 fics. The most popular fem/slash pairing, by comparison, is Seamoon, which has 275 fics. That's a difference of 840 fics! But Espressolin has a lot more fics than any other pairing, regardless of gender. So if we take the second most popular slash pairing, Pure Cacao, which has 266 fics, Seamoon does trump it, which I honestly hadn't expected, but only by 9 fics. And once we expand all the filters to see all the other popular ships, we'll find that it is the only fem/slash pairing on the list. And for those of you saying that we'll still have more female idols than male idols, so it's weird to think they'll steal all the attention, allow me to introduce you to another series, Project Sekai Colorful Stage. Excluding the Vocaloids, this series has 16 original female characters and 4 original male characters. What do you think will happen when we look under the series tag on AO3? Well, would you look at that? The characters with the most fics are the 4 male characters, and the most popular ships are the male characters paired with each other, even though the franchise has 4 times as many women. Guess it doesn't take a lot to stir the pot, huh? This isn't to say that I think one male idol will change things this significantly. What I aim to say is, as it stands, male characters have more potency than female characters. One Inkfish idol won't kill me or anyone else, but I do think it will be enough to feel a shift. Who knows what 2 or 3 would do? I'm also not saying that fanfiction writing trends are direct mirrors to what is experienced on other websites, and in other fanwork mediums. Fanfiction is just the easiest to obtain data from, since AO3 doesn't use algorithms to push content that it thinks you'll like to the top by default. That, coupled with the fact that there are far fewer popular fanfiction hosting websites than there are art hosting websites, makes data obtained from it all the more quote-unquote accurate. And it's not just Project Sekai where fans have gone the extra mile to show just how important men are to them. At a shareholders meeting in June 2023, someone complained at length about how women in the Splatoon franchise are treated more favorably than men. The length of this discussion was apparently so great that they were told that they were talking for too long and the meeting had to move on. In summation, someone who has put significant money into Nintendo's pockets used their privilege to ask directly about men in Splatoon. I don't think I've ever seen a woman do this, despite just how many games make you play as men or present women as goals instead of characters. For what it's worth, I don't believe that people who think men are underrepresented in Splatoon are a large portion of the fandom. Nor do I think it's right to discredit those who do make fem/works in fandoms like Project Sekai. But what I do want to say is that men are the ones being dealt better hands, getting the fan art and the long-form fan fictions and the art pieces from people who aren't even in the fandom at large. That's just the way things are in fandom. With all this evidence that shows just how much people care about men, you might be asking why Big Man, being a male idol, didn't cause much of a stir. I believe this mostly hinges on the fact that he isn't humanoid. Even though Splatoon is a series of sea creatures, their human-esque proportions make it easy to see them in human dynamics. Big Man doesn't fit in a human-inspired society. I mean, he doesn't even fit in the amiibo box at the Plaza. I'm pretty sure that vocal quirk of his isn't doing him any favors either. I digress. At the end of the day, the thing about Splatoon is that it does have men. Quite a few men, in fact. It's just Splatoon is the only franchise I can think of that doesn't have said men as the poster characters for its fandom. You could argue that a lot of male Splatoon characters don't have any personality, but there's nothing stopping you from making your own backstories for them or further fleshing them out. I've literally done that myself with a certain Paper Mario character. That's not even to mention the Splatoon manga, Koroika, which has lots of male characters, or the bands that produce the in-game music. If you search Splat bands on Google, it won't take you long at all to find fan art of men. If you're curious as to what a male Inkfish idol might look like, you needn't look further than H2O and Sashimori, which have Lionel and Paul respectively, who are both octolings. A male idol would probably look something like that. Look, I get it. This has turned into a rant. You could call this gatekeeping, or say that I'm trying to keep some sort of fandom purity culture. But Splatoon is the only franchise where I can go out into the main tags on any website and find not just women, but women who are into other women, without having to comb through the trenches and apply tons of filters to my searches. It's so refreshing to look into a fandom and see so much content where you can see yourself. To see so many headcanons and interpretations that make you feel at home. It's so nice to see women in a game with this large of a fan base who aren't thought of as lesser, or as accessories to men, as nothing more than romantic interests to pursue. To see women as fully fleshed characters with thought-out pasts, presents, and futures. Is it really so greedy to just want one thing? To want one franchise to remain for women? For myself? I really don't think it is. Anyway, that's enough for me. Mahi Megan out. Peace!